Alright, here I am heading on the, what is this, the northern shore of the river. Just kind of where the Ohio splits into the, I never say it right, the Monongahela and the Allegheny. So I'm up on the Allegheny shore line over here, looking back south to the city front right here. I grabbed these shots, which are pretty nice. At this time of the morning, the city kind of sparkled almost, like it just started to really just light up, be super clear. The weather was perfect from a temperature point of view. I couldn't have asked for it to be better, and honestly, you know, just as foreshadowing, it was that way the whole time. And here, kind of near the stadiums, I needed to go up some steps. Somehow I got myself off of the route, but as you can see, there's the route.
Am I going to break the law? Oh no, there's a back thing.
So I got a little confused because I thought I needed to go that way right there, but yeah, I could go back here. So it worked out, and I came through. You can see they're doing some like construction or whatever to the bridge, or maybe just maintenance or something. And at this point, I'm continuing to head east, and I go under one of the absolutely stunning bridges, all these yellow bridges that they have. The yellow bridges are like the main local roads heading north out of the city on this side. There's many additional bridges, especially on the south side too, but these three ones are pretty notable. Alright, it's daylight. I arrived at 5 a.m. in the dark. The sun is coming up behind me. You can see the railroad bridge right there that then cuts into this weird convention center thing and then drops you at the station downtown. So that's your entrance into Pittsburgh, which is pretty nice actually. You come across the river and you see all these bridges and everything. The railroad bridge, of course, the other interstate bridge over there. There's the big buildings, la-di-da. And then the Rachel Carson Bridge and the other yellow bridges that go down the river. All right, that's the third tent I've seen in town, but definitely not a presence here, like in Seattle, Portland, LA, etc. Anyway, I come up, got a little zigzag switch back here onto this bridge, and start to head south into the city core, the peninsula itself. All of these yellow bridges are pretty well maintained, painted, you know, no rust spots, etc. As you can see on the map there, that's the way I'm heading. That's my intent, is to go over there, get to that point. Notice the red bus. I'll comment about that in a minute. But anyway, heading in at this hour too, not a crazy rush hour or anything on the local bridges. It's really chill. Easy to bike in. You know, like this is Monday morning. You know, if there's a influx of traffic, this is when it would happen, and it was not happening. You know, there's the interstates. They have a bunch of backup and stuff because of the way they operate. But the local roads are absolutely beautiful and stunning from the perspective of traffic flow. And this, my first entry into the city core, and I see a bike sign and a nice little urban amenity space over there, already kind of blew my mind. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. I'm stoked. All right, Pittsburgh, show me what you got. I fly in right there and pull up on the sidewalk because I know I'm going to stop in a minute, or at least slow down to kind of get my bearings, because this is literally my first ride into the city. As I get here, I realize, oh, maybe this is the bus mall, and it hits me. Oh my God. Every single bus is bright freaking red, which is kind of cool and also a little trippy. Like, I would think of red buses as something odd anywhere else. But in Pittsburgh, that's the shtick. They got red buses. So anyway, not really knowing where I need to go except the direction, I just kind of cut into town. And as I watch this now, I actually know all the roads after having been there for the week and going back and, you know, re-reviewing this footage. But I found my way through pretty easily. It's a relatively small downtown, so easy to get around. And if you are biking, you start to know these, like this contraflow route right here. There's some in and outs. based on the various bridges that help you get in and out of various parts, especially the Southside Flats area where I'm going. I didn't know which way I was going, but I thought, oh, a contraflow lane, I gotta ride on this. This is the first one that I've seen like this in the United States. I think the last one I saw was in Krakow, in, you know, Poland, not the United States. So I headed this way and then cut onto the bus only lane right here and noticed, oh, a little bit of a gruff area of town, but nothing too overly creepy or anything. And it was just like one corner, and then I get over to this bridge heading to the south side, and it has this bike infrastructure onto it, which is interesting in various ways, because I was like, well, okay, maybe they're working on it. And they're definitely working on the bridge, because there's only 2 lanes out of like the 4 that are open, as you can see, and it's a 2-way lane setup, so a little trippy. Anyway, I get onto this bridge, and it is clearly one of the iron-working steel bridges that's Pittsburgh is known for, because there were literal planks that I was going across right there that are steel, not concrete, etc. I get over to this part, and those blue pylons right there are what go over that main line that you see down below, and to the right, you see what used to be a grand railroad station, and no longer. It is now like an entertainment place and a restaurant and stuff like that. But I kind of focus on a little bit so you can see what the entrance would have been like when you were going to ride passenger trains out of that station. That's what you would be going into. And it's still basically set up in its original configuration, except no
that's where the T goes
passenger
together.
trains coming in and out of there. And this is the transit tunnel that I've come upon right here. I didn't realize it at the time. And another one of the vernaculars going up the hill.
Oh, what? Another incline.
As I'm...
They got multiple
Yeah,
of these
I was like
motherfuckers.
dumbfounded. It's like, what? These things are all over the place. And still, I was kind of surprised how many there are. As I mentioned in a previous video, the state runs them, or the city, state, whatever. They're government-run transit operations at this point, which makes sense.
That is trippy as fuck, man.
And yeah. Excuse my French. Don't let it ruffle your feathers. Now, I cut over here, and this first time I didn't realize that I could literally ride on the road to the left, and it's basically a bikeway. Nobody drives on it, really. It connects to like a parking lot over there or something, but I didn't know. But over here to the right, you see the transit stop where the light rail comes in and out of, or they call it the streetcars. Finally, I get over into the Southside Flats, which has a nice gruff industrial feel to it, which, you know, some people really don't like that, and I don't have any problem with it. I think it's kind of cool, especially in these old Rust Belt region cities where, you know, the core of America was built at one point in time. In this area, unbeknownst to me, up above, you can actually ride over there. And anyway, we'll talk about it in another video. Right now, I'm cruising into the Southside Flats and kind of getting into the heart of it at this point. The boxing club over here. A few nights the doors were open and people were in there knocking the bejesus out of each other. That right there is actually my hotel, the Traveler's Rest, where I ended up staying. But since it's not quite 8 a.m., I kept rolling at this point. As I rolled along, I came upon a surprise. I did not expect to see this, not even slightly, just no way. I had no way of expectation because I did not do my research or anything. But I looked and noticed they're not steeples, right? So that's usually Eastern religions of the Catholic sect or others. And I go and look, and sure enough, it's a Ukrainian church, Ukrainian Catholic Church. So that was a pleasant surprise. So I stop and I just kind of check it out. And of course, I had to get a good shot of it. And there's the shot I got, which ended up not turning out that great, but I'm sharing it anyway. There you go. So I kind of hung out for a minute and just looked at some of the finer details. Like you can see on the doors, there's a lot of details. And then I just ended up riding into deeper and deeper into the heart of the Southside Flats to go check out the commercial district. One of the reasons I did this was the road was so calm at this hour of the morning that it was no problem just to take the whole lane and ride on into this part of town. As I was riding along, I also noticed the Ukrainian Home. I clearly noticed at this point
Slava Ukraini.
that part of the Ukrainian diaspora had clearly settled in Pittsburgh. So, Slava Ukraini. At this point, didn't show you this, but I had whipped out my phone and figured out where there was a coffee shop that I wanted to check out. And I noticed it was right there across the road now. I couldn't tell if it was open or not. It was a little nondescript from the outside, but I figured I'd tie up, and you'll see that in the next episode.